You have looked upon the state of your own heart, my child, and you have despaired at what you have found there, in the face of the towering mountains of your trials, the vast dark oceans of your sorrow. Your faith has seemed to you a thing of pitiful size, a tiny, sputtering candle in a raging gale, a single, fragile ember threatened by a torrential downpour. You have cupped your hands around it, trying to shield it from the winds of doubt and the chilling spray of circumstance. And in its flickering, faltering light, you have seen not a source of hope, but a confirmation of your own weakness, your own inadequacy. How can this possibly be enough? Your soul has cried out. This small, trembling belief, they, the world, with their eyes fixed on the measurable, the mighty, the demonstrably powerful, have looked upon your quiet, often hidden, faith and have dismissed it as foolishness. They have pointed to the magnitude of your problems and scoffed at the seeming smallness of your hope. That is all you have, their skeptical glances have asked. A mere belief, a fragile trust. Their logic, rooted in the visible, has labeled your faith as naive, as a denial of the facts of your situation. And their assessment, my beloved, has so often resonated with your own fears, making you feel ashamed of the very flame you have been so courageously trying to keep alive. The weariness of this struggle, my precious one, has been immense. It is one thing to battle an external foe, but another thing entirely to battle, while also feeling that your primary weapon is small, weak, and utterly insufficient for the fight. You have compared your faltering flame to the confident bonfires you have perceived in the lives of others, and your own heart has sunk with a sense of spiritual poverty. You have felt that your trust is not strong enough, your belief not pure enough, your surrender not complete enough to warrant my attention, my intervention, my miraculous power. And so, you have been tempted to give up on the flame altogether, haven't you? To let the winds of your circumstance finally extinguish the small light, to surrender to the darkness, to accept the world's verdict that your faith is a futile and childish thing. The pain of holding on to a belief that feels so small, so powerless, can at times feel greater than the pain of the trial itself. It is the agony of feeling you are failing, not only in your circumstance, but failing me, your God, by the very inadequacy of your trust. But I come to you now, my child, as you cup your hands around this fragile, flickering flame, as you feel the chill of despair seeking to snuff it out. I come to speak a truth so contrary to the world's logic, so contrary even to your own feelings, that it will, if you will receive it, utterly transform your understanding of yourself, of me, and of the very nature of our divine partnership. And this is the truth. My beloved, that small, faltering, and seemingly insignificant flame of your faith, the very thing you have so often despaired over, is, in my sight, the most precious, most potent, and most powerful element in your entire universe. For that tiny spark, that courageous flicker of trust in me, is the very thing I have been waiting for. It is the divine catalyst, the holy igniter, the sacred flame that will set ablaze the vast, prepared fuel of my eternal promise for your life. You see your faith and measure its size, but I see your faith and I measure its essence. And the essence of even the smallest particle of true faith is my own spirit, my own truth, at work within you. You see a sputtering candle, I see the seed of a divine conflagration. You see a fragile ember. I see the pilot light with the potential to ignite a furnace of my power. Do not ever again despise the day of small beginnings. My child, especially the small beginnings of faith in your own heart, for in my kingdom, it is not the size of your faith that matters, but the object of your faith. And when your faith, however small, is placed in me, you're all-powerful, all-loving God. It holds within it the very power to move mountains, to part seas, and to ignite the magnificent fulfillment of my every promise to you. I know the struggle it has been to keep even this small flame alive. I have witnessed every battle you have fought against the winds of doubt, every tear that has fallen upon the ember of your hope, threatening to quench it. I have seen your courage in shielding it, your tenacity in nurturing it, your faithfulness in refusing to let it die completely. And I tell you, my child, this effort has not been in vain. It has been a beautiful, sacred offering to me, a testament to a love that will not let go, a trust that chooses to believe even when it cannot see. So, let go of your shame. My beloved, release your despair over the perceived smallness of your faith and begin to see it as I see it, as the precious, essential, and profoundly powerful flame that holds the key to your entire future. For I have already laid the wood. My child, I have already poured out the oil of my grace. I have already prepared the magnificent bonfire of my eternal promise for you. All that has been waiting, all that I have been watching for with a father's loving anticipation. Is this one? Beautiful, courageous thing, the simple, sputtering, yet glorious flame of your faith. And I promise you, my child, it is more than enough. Yes, my cherished child, while you have been focused on the perceived smallness of your faith, while you have lamented its flickering, faltering nature, my eyes have been beholding an entirely different reality, a truth rooted not in the present size of your flame, but in its infinite, divine potential. You see a tiny, sputtering ember, and you feel a sense of inadequacy. But I, your God, who see all things in their eternal context, I see the very seed of a mighty conflagration. I see not what your faith is in this moment of trial, but what it is destined to become, and what it is capable of igniting, even now. That smallest spark of your genuine trust in me, my beloved, is more precious in my sight than all the loud, performative bonfires of the world, and it carries within it a power that you cannot yet comprehend. The world has taught you to measure all things by size, by volume, by visible impact, and so you have applied the same flawed metric to your own spirit. You have looked at the immensity of your challenges and then at the seeming smallness of your faith, and you have concluded that the two are hopelessly mismatched. But this is the logic of earth, not of heaven. In my kingdom, my child, the power lies not in the size of the catalyst, but in the nature of the substance it is designed to ignite. A single, tiny spark can set a vast, dry forest ablaze. A single, whispered yes from a sincere heart can unleash the power of heaven. Your faith, my precious one, however small it may feel to you, is that sacred spark. Its power is not found in itself, but in its capacity to connect with me, the source of all power, and to ignite the magnificent, eternal promise I have prepared for you. Do not despise the genuineness of your small faith. My child, a tiny, flawless diamond is of infinitely more value than a mountain of sand. A loud, boisterous declaration of belief that has never been tested, that is offered only when circumstances are easy, may make a fine show for the world, but it often lacks the substance, the purity, the sheer grit of your quiet, trembling trust in the dark, your faith, forged in the crucible of your trial, tested by the winds of doubt, and yet still choosing to turn its face toward me. This faith has a weight, a density, a reality in the spirit realm that is truly profound. It is authentic, it is costly, and it is, in my sight, a thing of breathtaking beauty and immense value. Think of the tiny mustard seed, my beloved, one of the smallest of all seeds, to look upon it. One would never imagine the great and branching shrub it is destined to become. A plant so large that the birds of the air can come and find rest in its shade. Your faith, in the season, may feel like that mustard seed, small, insignificant, seemingly powerless. But I, the divine gardener, know the life that is coiled within it. I know the magnificent potential that lies dormant, waiting for the right conditions to spring forth. You see only the smallness of the present seed. I see the greatness of the future tree. And I tell you, your small, genuine faith, when planted in the fertile soil of my promises and watered by your perseverance, has the divine potential to grow into a magnificent testament of my power, a sanctuary of strength and shade for both your own soul and for many others. My heart is not moved by the grandeur of a person's faith, but by the sincerity of it. I am not looking for a perfect, unwavering belief that has no questions, no doubts, no fears. I am looking for a heart that, in the midst of its questions, its doubts, its fears, still chooses to reach for me. I am looking for a spirit that, feeling its own inadequacy, chooses to trust in my adequacy. This is what I have seen in you. My child, I have witnessed you with a faith that felt no bigger than a grain of sand. Choose to stand against a tidal wave of despair. And I tell you, all of heaven watched in awe at the sheer, heroic beauty of that choice. The size of your faith did not matter. The direction of your faith, which was pointed towards me, was everything. Let go of the belief that you must somehow generate a bigger faith before I will act on your behalf. My child, this is a subtle lie that leads only to striving, to performance, to a focus on your own spiritual state rather than on me, the object of your faith. You do not need to feel strong in your faith for it to be effective. You do not need to feel a surge of confident emotion for it to be real. You need only to offer me what you have, that small, trembling, yet sincere, I trust you. Bring me your mustard seed. My child, bring me your flickering ember. It is all I require. It is the very thing I delight in, for it is in taking what the world, and you, deem small and weak, and using it to unleash my magnificent power, that my glory is most beautifully, most powerfully displayed. My pride, my delight, is not in a child who boasts of their own great faith, but in the child who, knowing their own faith is small, chooses to boast in their great God. Your very awareness of your faith's perceived weakness has created in you a beautiful humility, a profound dependence upon me. That is far more pleasing to me than any self-righteous display of spiritual strength. So, when you look upon your heart, my child, I invite you to see it as I see it. Do not see a faltering, inadequate faith. See a precious, genuine spark. Do not see a sputtering candle. See the potent seed of a divine conflagration. See a faith that has been tested and has not been extinguished. A trust that has endured loneliness and doubt. A heart that, in its most honest and vulnerable moments, has still chosen me. And know that this faith, your faith, is not only precious and beautiful in my sight, but it is also powerful beyond your wildest imaginings. For it is the very flame that I, your God, am about to use to ignite the glorious, eternal promise I have held for you all along. And so, my cherished child, as you begin to see your small, trembling faith not as a sign of your inadequacy, but as the precious, potent spark that I so deeply value, let me now shift your gaze from the flame to that which it is destined to ignite. For the power of a spark, my beloved, is not in the spark itself, but in the nature of the substance it touches. And I tell you, with a love that longs to see you walk in the fullness of your inheritance, that I have already prepared for you a vast, magnificent, and glorious storehouse of divine fuel, my eternal promise to you, the word I have spoken over your life, the destiny I have designed for your soul, is not a small or meager thing. It is a field of blessing, a reservoir of grace, a divine arsenal of power, all perfectly prepared, fully loaded, and patiently, lovingly, waiting for the single, sacred touch of your faith to set it ablaze. You have been so focused on the perceived weakness of your flame that you have not yet fully comprehended the immense, explosive potential of the fuel that awaits it. You have looked at your circumstances, at the magnitude of your need, and you have compared it to the smallness of your faith, and have concluded that the equation is impossible. But you have misunderstood the nature of our divine partnership. My child, I have not asked you to generate a fire large enough to consume your problems. That is my part. I have not asked you to produce the power to bring about your own breakthrough. That, too, is my part. Your part, my precious one, your simple yet profoundly powerful part, is to bring the flame. My part is to provide the fuel. And the fuel I have provided, the promise I have made, is more than enough. It is abundant. It is overwhelming. It is eternal. Think of my promise for your life as a great and mighty forest, its wood seasoned and dried over many seasons of your waiting, every tree representing a different facet of the blessing I intend for you. Trees of healing, trees of provision, trees of purpose, trees of joy. Your faith, that tiny spark, is all that is needed to set this magnificent forest of my promise alight, to create a bonfire of my glory that will consume the shadows of your past, warm the chilled places of your heart, and shine as a beacon for all to see. The power is not in your spark, but in the vastness of my prepared forest. Consider my promise as a great storehouse, my child, filled to the rafters with every good and perfect gift you will ever need, peace that surpasses understanding, strength for every trial, wisdom for every decision, love enough to heal every wound. The door to this storehouse has been locked, not to keep you out, but to be opened at the perfect moment. And the key, my beloved, the only key that fits this lock, is not the key of your own righteousness, nor the key of your perfect performance, but the simple, humble, yet masterfully crafted key of your genuine faith. When you choose to trust me, you insert that key, And when you act on that trust, you turn it, swinging wide the doors to reveal the limitless treasures I have held in store for you all along. The very word I have spoken to you, the specific promise that burns in your heart, is not a mere collection of hopeful syllables. My child, it is a vessel of my own creative power, a container of divine, potential energy. It is like a seed that holds within its tiny form the entire blueprint and life force of a mighty tree. It is like a charge of divine explosive, capable of shattering the most formidable mountains of your adversity. It is like a sky filled with heavy, moisture-laden clouds, pregnant with a life-giving rain that will turn your desert into a garden. This promise, this word, is already real, already powerful, already complete in the spiritual realm. But it is designed, in my perfect wisdom, to remain in its state of potential until it is activated, until it is ignited by the corresponding collaborative energy of your faith. This is the beauty of our divine partnership. My beloved, I could, of course, accomplish all things by my own sovereign power alone, but I, in my love, have chosen to invite you into the process. I have designed my kingdom in such a way that it operates on the principle of the sacred collaboration between my divine power and your human faith. I provide the limitless potential of my promise, and you provide the courageous catalyst of your trust. And when the two meet, my child, when your faltering flame touches the magnificent fuel of my unfailing word, a glorious ignition occurs. A holy fire is kindled, and the power of heaven is released into your earthly circumstances in a way that brings glory to me and profound blessing to you. My promise to you, my child, is not a frail or uncertain thing. It has been forged in the fires of my eternal counsel, sealed by my unwavering character, and guaranteed by my own omnipotence. It is more real than your problems, more enduring than your circumstances, more powerful than any force that may come against you. You do not need to worry about the quality or the quantity of the fuel. It is perfect. It is abundant. It is more than enough. Your only concern, your only focus, is to tend your small flame, to nurture your trust, and to bring that spark, with all its trembling beauty, to the magnificent promise that is so patiently, so lovingly, waiting for it. So, when you feel your faith is small, my precious one, shift your gaze. Look not at the size of your flame, but at the immensity of the fuel. Look not at your own perceived weakness, but at my limitless, all-sufficient power, which is contained within my promise to you. Let the grandeur of my promise be the very thing that encourages your faith. Let the certainty of my word give courage to your heart, for the two are designed to work in perfect, beautiful harmony. Your faith is the flame, my beloved, and my eternal promise is the vast, glorious, and perfectly prepared fuel, just waiting to be set ablaze. And so, my cherished child, as you stand in the quiet assurance that your small, trembling faith is precious in my sight, and that my eternal promise to you is a vast and perfectly prepared field of divine fuel, a moment of profound and beautiful potential now arrives. It is the moment when these two sacred elements, designed from eternity to work in perfect harmony, are brought together. It is the sacred moment of ignition, the instant when your courageous act of faith, that tiny yet potent flame, finally touches the magnificent substance of my unfailing word. And in that holy contact, My beloved, a glorious conflagration begins, a release of my power, my grace, my blessing, so immense that it will consume the shadows of your doubt. Illuminate your path with a dazzling light, and begin the visible, undeniable manifestation of the very breakthrough you have so long and so faithfully awaited. This moment of ignition, my child, is often a simple, quiet act of the heart, yet its consequences resound through the heavens and begin to alter the very fabric of your earthly reality. It may be the moment when, after long seasons of weary waiting, you finally, completely let go of all your own striving, your own solutions, your own timelines. In an act of profound surrender, you whisper, "Father, I trust you completely. Let it be according to your word, in your time." In that simple, yet total, release of control, your flame of faith, purified of all self-reliance, touches my promise with a new intensity, a new purity, and the divine reaction begins. Or perhaps it is a moment when, in the face of overwhelming circumstances and the deafening shouts of reason that declare your situation hopeless, you make a conscious choice to take one small, seemingly foolish step of obedience based on what I have whispered to your heart. You make the call you have been dreading. You offer the forgiveness that feels impossible. You give from your lack. You speak the word of hope when your own heart feels hopeless. This act, my child, this courageous movement of faith in defiance of all visible evidence, is like thrusting your small candle into the heart of my prepared fuel. It is the catalyst that I have been waiting for, the act that says, "I believe your reality more than my own." And in that moment, the power of my promise is unleashed when this sacred ignition occurs. My beloved, the first thing you will often feel is a profound shift in the spiritual atmosphere around you. The oppressive weight of your long struggle begins to lift. The chilling fog of doubt begins to dissipate, burned away by the first surge of heat from this new and holy fire. A deep, abiding peace, a sense of rightness, of joyful anticipation will settle upon your spirit, for your soul recognizes, on a level deeper than thought, that something has shifted, that my power has been engaged, that the fulfillment is now in motion. Your own small flame is not extinguished in this process. My child, it is subsumed, incorporated into a far greater blaze, the glorious bonfire of my manifested promise. You are no longer just shielding a tiny ember. You are now standing in the warmth and the light of a fire that I have kindled through your trust. And as this divine fire begins to burn, it consumes the obstacles that have for so long stood in your way, the barriers that seemed insurmountable, the problems that appeared intractable, begin to dissolve in the heat of my active power. What was once a tangled mess of complexity begins to resolve with a surprising, supernatural ease. What was once a firmly shut door may suddenly, inexplicably, swing wide open. People's hearts may be softened. Resources may appear from unexpected quarters. And pathways may clear in ways you could never have orchestrated in your own strength. This is my power. My child, released by your faith, now actively working to bring your circumstances into alignment with my promise, the promises I have spoken to you. My beloved, now begin to take on a new, tangible reality. The healing you have prayed for begins to manifest in your body, your mind, your heart. The provision you have needed begins to flow into your life with a generosity that astounds you. The purpose I have for you, which may have once seemed a distant dream, begins to take on flesh and bone as new opportunities, new connections, new assignments, perfectly suited to you, begin to appear. The long, fallow winter of your waiting gives way to the first, vibrant shoots of your promised spring, and you will know, with an unshakable certainty, that I am a God who is faithful to his word. This is the beautiful fruit of our divine partnership. My child, my eternal promise, with all its inherent power, was the fuel patiently waiting. Your courageous faith, with all its precious sincerity, was the flame lovingly tended, and in the sacred moment of their meeting, a miracle is birthed into your world, a miracle that brings glory to my name and profound blessing to your life. My heart rejoices in this moment, my beloved, for it is a testament to the beautiful way I have designed my kingdom to work, not through my power alone, but through my power engaged and released by the beautiful, courageous trust of my cherished children. Do not be afraid of this fire. My child, it is not the destructive fire of judgment, but the creative, purifying, empowering fire of my love made manifest. Let its warmth suffuse your entire being, healing the chilled places of your soul. Let its light illuminate your path with a new clarity, a new confidence. Stand in awe and wonder, my precious one, at the glorious power that your own small, yet persistent, flame of faith has been used to ignite. The waiting has been long, the trial has been real, but the moment of ignition has come. And now, the magnificent, eternal promise of your God is ablaze, consuming the past, illuminating the present, and forging the pathway to your glorious, triumphant future. This is the victory that your faith has wrought in partnership with me, and it is only the beginning. And so, my cherished child, as you stand in the radiant warmth and the dawning light of this sacred ignition, as you witness the power of my promise being unleashed by the courageous flame of your faith, a new and beautiful phase of our divine partnership begins. For the fire that has been kindled, this glorious bonfire of my grace, now requires your loving and attentive care. The season of desperately shielding a tiny, sputtering ember is giving way to the joyful and sacred responsibility of tending this magnificent, growing fire. I invite you now, my beloved, to learn the art of nurturing your sacred flame, of protecting its growth, of cooperating with its power, so that it may burn ever brighter, ever hotter, until it has consumed every last vestige of your former trial and illuminated your life with the fullness of its glory. This tending of your sacred fire, my child, is a beautiful and intimate dance between your faithfulness and my continuing grace. It begins with the conscious act of protection. For even as this holy fire begins to burn, the old winds of doubt will still attempt to blow. The chilling mists of fear will still try to descend. The enemy of your soul, and perhaps even the well-meaning but skeptical voices of the world, will see this new warmth, this new light, and they may try to extinguish it with their negativity, their cynicism, their reminders of your past struggles. It won't last. They may whisper, Don't get your hopes up. Your role as a tender of this fire, my beloved, is to build a protective circle around it. This is a circle of truth, a wall built for my own promises. When a wind of doubt blows, you must meet it not with your own arguments, but with the unshakable truth of my word. When a feeling of fear begins to creep in, you must consciously choose to draw nearer to the warmth of the fire, reminding yourself of my faithfulness, my power, my love. This act of protecting the fire is an act of protecting your own heart, of refusing to allow the old darkness to encroach upon the new light I have given you. And just as a fire needs fuel to continue burning, so your faith, this sacred flame, needs to be continually nourished. What is this fuel? My child, it is, first and foremost, your ongoing communion with me. Prayer is the very oxygen that a fire of faith breathes. As you continue to speak with me, to share your heart, to offer your praise and your gratitude, you are fanning the flames, inviting my spirit to breathe upon them, causing them to leap higher, to burn brighter. Do not think that now the breakthrough has begun. You no longer need this intimate connection. On the contrary, my child, it is more vital than ever to keep the channels of communication open, to stay close to the source of the fire. Another essential fuel is my word. My beloved, immerse your spirit in my truths. Meditate on my promises. Let my scriptures be the steady, seasoned logs that you place upon the fire of your faith. For my word is living and active, filled with its own divine energy. As you feed your heart and mind with my truth, you are providing your faith with the very substance it needs to burn with a steady, enduring, and powerful heat. A fire fed with the dry wood of human opinion or anxious thought will soon sputter and die, but a fire fed with the eternal, life-filled logs of my word will burn with a holy and unquenchable intensity. And then there's the kindling of your obedience. My child, as this new fire begins to illuminate your path, I will begin to present you with new opportunities, new promptings, new small steps of faith to take. Each time you respond with a yes, each time you take a small, obedient action based on my leading. It is like adding a piece of perfectly dry kindling to the fire. These small acts of faith feed the larger flame, causing it to surge with new power, to expand its reach, to consume more of the surrounding darkness. Do not despise these small promptings, my beloved. They are my invitations to you to partner with me in the expansion of this beautiful, miraculous fire in your life. Tending this fire also requires the removal of anything that would dampen its heat. This means continuing the sacred work of forgiveness, of releasing any lingering bitterness or resentment that could act like wet, smoldering wood upon the flames. It means turning away from old habits, old thought patterns, old relationships that are not in harmony with this new, holy fire that burns within you. It is a process of keeping the hearth of your heart clean, pure, and dedicated solely to the burning of the sacred flame of faith and my manifested promise. Be patient in this tending, my precious one. A great bonfire is not built in an instant. It grows in intensity, in heat, in light, as it is carefully, consistently, and lovingly tended. There may be moments when the flame seems to die down a little, when the heat is less intense. Do not panic in these moments. Simply draw near once more. Add the fuel of my word. Breathe upon it with the breath of your prayers. Offer the kindling of a small, obedient act, and trust that I, the master of this fire, am with you, and that I will not allow the flame I have ignited through your faith to be extinguished. My joy, my child, is to see you in this new role, no longer the desperate guardian of a tiny ember, but the joyful, confident tender of a magnificent, growing fire. I delight in your partnership, in your attentiveness, in your loving care for this beautiful thing that we have created together. And as you tend this fire, you will find that it tends you in return. Its warmth will heal your deepest wounds. Its light will guide your every step. Its power will transform every area of your life, burning away the dross and refining the pure gold of your true, divine identity. So, continue in this sacred work, my beloved tender of the flame. Protect what has been ignited. Nurture it with your love, your trust, your obedience. And watch with awe and wonder as this sacred fire, born from the small spark of your courageous faith and the magnificent fuel of my eternal promise, grows into a radiant, life-giving, darkness-consuming conflagration that will bring glory to my name and a profound, lasting warmth to your own beautiful soul. And so, my cherished child, as you faithfully, lovingly tend this sacred fire, as you partner with me in nurturing the flame of your faith upon the magnificent fuel of my eternal promise, a new and glorious reality begins to emanate from your very being. The small, once faltering flame, now fed and protected, grows into a steady, radiant bonfire, and its light, its warmth, its very presence, begins to transform not only your own inner world, but also the world around you. This, my beloved, is the breathtaking beauty of an ignited life, a life where my promise, kindled by your trust, becomes a luminous beacon, a source of profound warmth, and a living testament to the magnificent power of our divine partnership. No longer are you defined by the chill of your former trials or the darkness of your long waiting. You are now defined by the light you carry, the warmth you radiate. This is a radiance that is not of your own making, but is the very glow of my presence burning brightly within you. It is a light that shines in your eyes, a peace that settles upon your countenance, a quiet confidence that infuses your every action. People will look at you, my child, and they will sense ye something different, something luminous, something that speaks of a peace that transcends circumstance, and a joy that is not dependent on external conditions. This radiance is the outward sign of the inner fire, the beautiful evidence of a life that has been truly, deeply ignited by me. This ignited life becomes a beacon of hope for others who are still lost in their own darkness. You remember, do you not, my beloved, what it was like to be adrift in the night, searching desperately for a single point of light, a single sign that you were not alone, that there was a safe harbor somewhere beyond the storm. You have become that light for others. My child, your story, your transformation, your very being, now shines as a testament that darkness is not the final reality, that promises are fulfilled, that faith, even when it feels small, can ignite a glorious fire. Those who are still wrestling with their own doubts and fears will be drawn to the light and the warmth that emanates from you. And in your story, they will find the courage to nurture their own flickering flame of hope. Your life becomes my lighthouse, guiding other weary vessels safely home. And oh, the warmth of this ignited life, my precious one, a life lived in fear, in doubt, in striving, is a cold existence, forever seeking warmth from the inadequate fires of worldly approval or fleeting success. But a life ignited by my promise is a source of its own profound, internal warmth. This is the warmth of my love, constantly, consistently radiating through your being, healing the old, chilled places in your own soul, and overflowing to bring comfort and solace to those around you who are shivering in the cold of their own trials. You become a hearth, my child, a place of refuge, where others can come and be warmed, not by your own finite heat, but by the inexhaustible, life-giving fire of my spirit burning within you. This radiance is also a testament to the power of our divine partnership. The world often operates on the principle of self-reliance, of individual achievement, but your life, my beloved, now tells a different, more beautiful story. It speaks of a God who does not ask his children to achieve victory on their own, but who invites them into a co-creative dance, a sacred collaboration where their humble faith becomes the catalyst for his magnificent power. Your triumph is not yours alone, nor is it mine alone. It is ours. It is the beautiful fruit of your courageous trust meeting my unwavering faithfulness. And the story, this testimony to the beauty of a life lived in partnership with me, is a profound and powerful message that your very being will now preach to a world that so desperately needs to know that it does not have to struggle alone. Embrace this radiant life, my child, with joy and with humility. Let your light shine. Do not hide it for fear of being too bright, too different. The world needs your light. It needs your warmth. It needs your story. Live authentically from this place of ignited faith, and you will find that your life takes on a new and beautiful effectiveness, a divine flow. The things you are called to do will be accomplished with a new grace, for you are now operating not from a place of striving, but from a place of overflowing, fiery power. My delight in you, my child, as I behold your ignited life, is beyond what words can express. To see my promise and your faith united in this glorious blaze, to see you shining with my light, warming others with my love, testifying to my power. This is the fulfillment of my own heart's desire for you. You bring me glory, not by being perfect, but by being a living, breathing testament to my power to take a small, faltering flame and use it to set the world ablaze with my goodness and my grace. So, stand tall in your radiance, my beloved. Be the beacon, be the hearth, be the living story of what I can do with a single spark of faith offered to me in love. The world may have once seen only a flickering candle, but now, through my grace, they will see a magnificent fire, a radiant life, a testament to the unshakable truth that your faith, my child, is indeed the very flame that ignites my eternal, glorious promise. And so, my cherished child, my radiant one, as you walk now in the beautiful light of your ignited life, as you feel the warmth of my fulfilled promise, let this final, immutable truth become the very rhythm of your heart and the bedrock of your every future hope. The divine principle you have just experienced is not a singular event, but an eternal one. My promises, my beloved, are always laden with the fuel of my power, always prepared, always ready, and they are, and will always be, patiently, lovingly, eagerly awaiting the courageous spark of your faith. My commitment to you is this: I will always respond to the flame of your trust with the magnificent, life-altering fire of my fulfillment. This sacred partnership, this divine synergy, is the very essence of our walk together, now and for all eternity. The great storehouse of my grace, whose doors your faith has just unlocked, is not now empty, my child. Its treasures are inexhaustible. The vast forest of my promises, which has begun to burn so brightly, is not now consumed. Its expanse is limitless. The breakthrough you have experienced is not the end of my work, but the beginning of a new way of living, a new level of our co-creative relationship. You have learned the most vital secret of my kingdom, that's your faith. However small it may feel, is the key that unlocks my infinite resources, the flame that ignites my boundless power. As you journey forward, my child, I will continue to speak new promises into your heart. I will give you new visions, new dreams, new assignments that may, at times, seem as daunting, as impossible, as the ones you have just overcome. You may once again face situations where your human understanding sees only lack, where your natural eyes see only obstacles, where the world offers only its familiar chorus of doubt. But you will now face these moments differently. You will no longer despair at the perceived smallness of your faith, for you know its true, potent nature. You will no longer be intimidated by the size of the challenge, for you know the immensity of the divine fuel that is contained within my promise. You will know with a deep, experiential certainty that your role is not to generate the mighty fire, but simply to bring the faithful spark. And so, you can face the future not with anxiety, but with a holy and joyful anticipation, wondering what glorious fire will we kindle together next, what new facet of his power, what new dimension of his love will my simple act of trust now unleash into the world. This transforms your walk from one of fearful striving into one of adventurous, faith-filled discovery. My posture towards you, my beloved, is one of constant, loving readiness. I am always leaning towards you, my ear inclined to your heart, watching, waiting with a father's eager love for that moment when you will choose to trust me, to act on my word, to offer your flame to my promise. It is a delight to me, my child, a profound joy to respond to your faith. I do not do so begrudgingly or as a mere duty. I do so with a surge of divine pleasure, for in that moment of ignition, my own nature, which is to give, to heal, to restore, to create, is most gloriously expressed through my beautiful partnership with you. So, continue to cultivate your sacred fire. My precious one, tend the flame of your faith with diligence and with love. Feed it with my word. Fan it with your prayers of gratitude. Protect it from the winds of worldly doubt and the dampness of your own fears. And then, my child, be bold, be courageous. Do not be afraid to bring your spark to the great promises I have given you. Do not let the memory of your past struggles make you timid, for you have learned the secret. You know the truth. Your faith is the key. Your trust is the catalyst. The life I call you to, my beloved, is a life of continuous ignition, a series of glorious bonfires that illuminate the darkness, that warm a cold world, that testify to my power and my goodness. It is a life lived in the constant, Dynamic interplay between your courageous trust and my limitless grace. It is a life that is truly, vibrantly, supernaturally alive. Let this be your unshakable confidence, your lasting peace. My promises await your spark, always, for every need. I have a promise of provision for every wound, a promise of healing for every confusion, a promise of guidance for every weakness, a promise of strength, and for every promise. My beloved, I have designed it to be ignited by the beautiful, powerful, and precious flame of your simple, heartfelt faith in me. This is our way. My child, this is our dance, and it is a dance that will lead us through this life and into the glories of eternity. One beautiful, faith-ignited triumph at a time. And now, my beloved child, as the light and warmth of this sacred truth fills your soul, let your spirit find its deepest rest. The partnership we share is eternal. The power of your faith, my promise of divine constant. You hold the sacred spark, and I hold the infinite fuel. There's no challenge you will ever face, no darkness you will ever encounter, that cannot be met and overcome by the glorious fire that our love and trust can kindle together. Rest in this knowing, my precious one. You are forever equipped, forever empowered, forever my cherished partner in the beautiful work of igniting my promises in your life and in the world.